going to click on settings first. You got some different settings you can go through to make it look nicer, but that would be something I would play with if you haven't done with before to make it easier to look at. Just makes things a little easier to find. Okay. One of the things that you can do to help overall with the settings with your inbox is go on to your filters and blocked addresses. And you can see I have several here, and I'll talk a little bit about these, but this way you can sort your inbox a little bit faster, and not only that, but also even skip your inbox if you have things that you don't need to look at right away. So you're going to create a new filter. First one I'm going to do is for our discipline reports. Because I don't need to look at those right away. In fact, I don't need to look at them at all. I can always check back if I need them. So I'm going to just create a filter for that. Okay. And you can see it came up with all these options to do when it comes up. I'm going to put this. I'm going to put that it's going to mark it as red. I'm going to change the label. I'm going to choose a label. Now I already have labels here, but if you don't have labels, you can put in your own, or you can just create them as you get to what you need. I have mine organized a little different because I have just a lot of different stuff. However you want to do it. I'm going to create one that's just called Eagles Discipline. Okay. If I have other things to put it with, I can put it and nest it underneath another one, or I can create multiple and put them in all kinds of different ways, and I'll show you that in a minute as well. But I'm just going to click create with that. So every time any of those emails come in, they're going to come and get marked with this label. On these, I'm actually going to have it skip or mark as red, and I don't need to do any of these other things here if I don't want to. Now I can star it so I make sure I see it. I can make sure it never sends to spam. I can always make it mark important. If I don't even want to look at it, I can just go ahead and skip the inbox and I won't even see it. But I'm going to click this here because this is going to do all the other conversations that I have. Okay, so now I'm going to click create filter. Okay, now at first it seems like nothing's happening, but if you click your inbox again, it's going to do this funky thing and jump back around, and now the filter's actually created. So if I look over here, you can see that I now have an Eagles Discipline one. And when I go into my inbox, you'll be able to see that I've got some Eagles Discipline ones right here. Okay. Another great one to do is if you're going to, let's say you're going to make a filter with certain email addresses. So I'm going to create a new one, and I'm going to do one for all the administrators. As you start typing in, you'll see their names come up. You can go ahead and get everybody you need to on this. Okay, once you've got all the names in, what you're going to do, and this is where you really need to make sure you get all these are, you're going to go back to the very beginning, and you're going to go right after that first comma. You're going to put space, and you're going to type capital O, capital R, and another space. Find your next comma, space, capital O, capital R, another space. Another space, capital O, capital R, another space. And you need to keep doing this for all the emails that you have in here. If you have a lot of emails that you want to do this with, I would suggest opening a Google Doc, putting them all in there and editing it in there because it gets a little tedious to do too many on here. Once you've gotten that done, now you can just search if that's all you want to do, or you can also click on Create Filter, which we're going to do. And since these are all pretty important ones, I find you can see that brought up all of them in the background, and I have quite a few of those. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a label. And for me, that's going to go into this important don't delete admin one. Now, if I needed to, I could create a new label and I could put whatever I wanted to call it. For this one, I'm going to call it my administrators. I could nest it under something. So as you can see, I already have an admin one, so I'm not going to create this one right now, but you certainly could, whatever worked best for you. Okay, so I'm going to select my admin one. I'm going to also make sure I mark every one of those as important, and I also want that on every single conversation I already have. Okay, once I click that, it's going to kind of sit here and seem like it's not really doing much. It actually is, but for whatever reason, it won't show up until I click inbox or refresh, and it's going to make a little bit of a crazy flip and then pop here. But now, if I go back to my inbox, and I can go into any of these, and I can see everything with it, but I can also just click the inbox and get rid of it. And now it's out of my inbox, but I still kept it in my label.